difference quotient is a very important topic in calculus. So we get to review this topic for our final exam. This is for Math 161 pre-calculus. So given f of x equals x squared plus 3x, so that's our quadratic function right there, they want us to find this quotient, f of x plus h minus f of x over h. That is the formula for difference quotient. Setting it up will be the more challenging part, but once we set it up, we will just carefully FOIL it out or combine like terms to simplify it all the way, okay? So let's set this up together, okay? Draw a long fraction bar, okay? We're following that formula. And the bottom of the fraction is easy. The denominator is simply h, so we put the h there. Now I'll tell you the hardest part of setting this up is this part. Let me highlight that part in red. That f of x plus h. What we are doing for that red highlighted part is we're plugging in the parenthesis x plus h everywhere we see x. So right there and right there. Okay? So let's write that down. Let's substitute x plus h in to replace the x's. So instead of x squared, our quotient will start with x plus h squared plus, instead of 3x, we're going to write 3 times x plus h. Wasn't that bad, right? So we're done with that red highlighted part. Now what else is still there? After that red highlighted part, we notice the minus sign. So write the minus sign. And they are asking us to subtract f of x from it. So what I will do is I will draw a parenthesis, okay? And I will put f of x in here. F of x, the original f of x is this. X squared plus 3x. So that's the setup. Now we set it up beautifully. Now it's time for us to simplify this. So lots of things to do over here. But first, we're going to have to FOIL some parts out, okay? When you look at this part, we're not going to distribute the exponent of 2. We don't do that, okay? That part is going to be x plus h times x plus h. So we must FOIL it out, okay? I'm going to try to do that on the next slide. Let me just copy this down, okay? I'll just copy this exactly the same. And then I'll do the multiplication on the next slide, all right? So go down, long fraction bar again, h in the denominator, but let us FOIL that first binomial squared. So when you do x times x, you get x squared. X times h is xh. There's another x times h, so that's going to be another xh. And h times h will give us h squared. Okay? Moving on to that 3 part. So focus on this part for me. I'm going to distribute the 3 in. So we will get plus 3x and plus 3h. Now, let us distribute this negative sign in. So what will happen is these 2 things inside the parenthesis will switch to opposite sign. So instead of positive x squared, we're going to write negative x squared. And instead of plus 3x, we're going to write minus 3x. All right. Now, we're going to combine some like terms, and that will result in a lot of canceling out, okay? So I'll draw the, well, you know what? The fraction bar doesn't have to be this long anymore. You know what? I'm going to make it a little bit shorter like this. Watch. There is x squared in the very front. And opposite of x squared is negative x squared. You notice it's right there. Those two will add up and cancel out. Next, what else? I notice there is 3x, that is positive, and there is negative 3x. So those two opposite terms will also cancel out. Well, look at these two terms for me. These two are exactly the same thing. They're not going to cancel out. They're both positive. So I will add them. I will add these two and get 2xh. They don't cancel out. Now, what else is still left on the numerator? We still have that plus h squared. And what else? We still have that plus 3h. Doing really good. When we simplify all these terms, all the terms on the numerator must have h so that we can factor it out to the front. So I am going to factor out all of their h's. Well, the middle one have h squared, so I'm just going to factor out one of them. So when you factor out the h to the front, let's see what's left. The first term, 2xh, will lose one of the h, so I will just have 2x. The middle term was h squared, but if you factor one of the h out, that will just turn into h to the first power. So I'll just write it as h. And if you factor out the h from 3h, h is gone, and we just have 3. Still all over h. And not what cancels out here. We can cross out that h. Therefore, our final answer, the simplified difference quotient, is 2x plus h plus 3. And this topic is very important when you move up to calculus. This is what you will use to define derivative when you move up to Math 261 Applied Calculus. So we do want to practice this, not just for the final exam, but for the calculus class that you will move into next semester.